What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of A Side of Fries. It's your boy, Alex Shamil, as your host once again. And I'm going to be real, I'm a little rusty. It's been a while since we've recorded. And I'm here with Art, my boy, again. You know,
You
I don't
rusty ass bitch.
I don't really got to introduce him. He's always here. Like, that's my boy. So, like,
Yeah, this is my pain, my curse. You know, I am, I'm like Charon ferrying souls over to the other side of the episode.
oh, man, them Dungeon and Dragon intros, Dude, it's been a while since I've seen you. How have you been?
I'm great, man. I'm glad seeing you. Sorry that, if you're seeing this, there's some gap between the last time we recorded this,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, we've been recording content for about like a month or so, like back to back, kind of, and we got them all stacked. It's a small team, guys. You got to be patient.
Small team, this shit takes time, like skeleton crew, dollars and cents, the jibber jabber of the Jabberwock,
But we still here. We still out here. We're producing content and shit like that,
Hell yeah,
Nothing's
man.
going to stop us.
I feel like I'm staring into your eyes sitting here,
Well, I mean, my eyes are quite beautiful, and I wore the clear glasses for you because
They are.
all my other glasses are scratched up and like dirty because I wear them to the gym.
You
So.
give me senpai vibes. You're like,
I got the Miata eyes on.
yeah. You got the little. Tell me about these little circular glasses that fucking Gen Z apparently loves, but were not popular since like the 1930s.
These are
before that.
These are the Harry Potter glasses.
Fucking Harry Potter.
That's what
It is. That's what made it popular again.
Yeah,
Harry
no.
fucking Potter. Because the circle glasses. When is the last time you saw circle glasses before that? The hippie times, right?
The 90s.
Kind of, yeah, but they were sunglasses. They weren't like
sunglasses,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But
The 90s, they were super popular.
I only
90s,
started
yeah.
wearing
And the
these
90s,
because
they're
like
back.
I've started realizing that face shape matters when it comes
Yeah.
to like your glasses. So
Yeah.
if you have like a boxy like kind of face, I think the rule is you don't want it to be too round, but you also don't want it to be too square. So like in the
Yeah.
middle, so like an oval or like something.
What about
like that.
put these on?
So if I, okay, here you want to put
Yeah,
on
yeah,
these?
yeah.
All right, bet.
Gonna do a little swap.
So I don't know.
Dude, it does look amazing on
Those
you.
look sick on me.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it. But my eyes too much, but-
Yeah, it does look sick on you too. The hair, the hair really makes it pop.
Dude, you look like you're out of like a sci-fi movie. With
You
those-
look so intellectual, Arturo, with those round glasses
Yeah.
on, like you own a library. You don't just work at the library, you own the library.
Yeah,
You're-
Oh.
it's populated by
eccentric-
cats,
Yes, you're the
you run a
eccentric.
cat cafe in a busy city.
Yeah, a Kotka Cafe, I went to a cat cafe once.
Hmm?
Yeah, it was all right. Like cats, crawling around the ceiling and all this shit, It's fine, but, I mean, cleaning it up must be such an upkeep,
It's like I get it. Sometimes like there's certain drinks that you can just get with a lid.
Yeah.
But what happens if they serve you like a mug of hot coffee and then these cats are around? Like, don't they shed?
Yeah,
Don't-
exactly.
Don't they like?
Don't
the
they
hair-
shit? Besides shitting.
Yeah. They're-
Pee?
If they're mad trained to like when they gotta like go to the bathroom, like they just gotta walk out of the room and like
Yeah.
do that. Because I know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of cats, but I know cats to be like, "Where's the box?"
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and they just
well,
stink,
cats
too.
that I've met, crap and pee in boxes as well.
Are you a fan of cats?
I respect them.
Okay.
I like them enough. They like me. I don't dislike them. But it's one of those things. It's like they're never gonna love you. Like they're just gonna. They could eat you if they would eat you if they could. They would murder you senselessly.
Oh, the ghost of the cat is coming to get you.
Might be the ghost of the squirrel.
Yeah, that's right. If you remember the last episode before this, we talked about squirrels. Yeah, we got some squirrels in the attic. That's all right.
It sounds like it's almost right here.
It's our audience.
It pops out of the.
You actually got freaked out. Oh man, not speaking of just animals, because
Yeah.
I noticed outside of the studio, like
Yeah.
you guys have a greenhouse set up. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
new thing
dude.
came up. Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's fucking sick.
Thank you, man. Yeah. There's like so we've started testing. We have 5 bunnies sleeping outside, 4 inside. So some are inside that greenhouse, some are against like the side of the building. And yeah, so far they're all alive.
It's mad cool because it's a legit ecosystem out there.
Thank you. Yeah. We're growing it. I mean, right now there's a lot of like manure in the ecosystem, but we hope to start planting stuff, right? For this is spring.
Warm time. I hate the
Yeah.
warm times.
Have you ever had any pets?
I've had a couple of dogs.
Yeah.
I think 3, 4 total.
God damn.
Not at the same time.
Dogs live a long time, don't they?
Yeah, so like I had my first dog.
Not at your house.
Well, not at our house, no. No, I'm kidding. No, we had a dog. Her name was Sparkles for like 15 years. It was
Sparkle's
a poodle.
a good name. Yeah.
It was a poodle. It was a white poodle. And then after that, like my brother had 2 dogs. One was named Teddy, which is another poodle mixed with something else.
Yeah.
And then we had a boxer. His name was Rocker.
Okay.
And then there was another dog that my brother had with Teddy. His name was Cookie, but like he had to go back with the owner.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I've had 4
Because you guys
dogs
stole
total.
that animal or something? Yeah.
No, if anything,
Yeah.
if anything,
Like, yeah, we had another dog, but I had to go back to its owner. You know, it's like,
so my brother was watching them, and the owner was pretty shitty, like a pretty shitty dog owner. Like both
Yeah.
Teddy and Cookie were like really
Yeah.
fucked up when we first got them. And then the owner wanted Cookie back, but didn't care for like Teddy. So like we took Teddy in, and so Teddy and Rocker are still with us. Sparkles passed like 2 years ago.
okay.
Pretty sad day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then my sister has a dog. We've lived with that dog for a little bit too. Chispy is a Chihuahua or a little rat dog.
Do you see yourself owning a dog?
Probably not anytime soon.
No.
I might. I really want like what are they called? A greyhound?
God
Is that what
damn,
they're
that's a
called?
big fucking dog.
Yeah,
you
I want a
know?
big ass dog.
Greyhounds this
They're
tall.
like long.
I mean,
kind of
volume
Are you
wise,
thinking
they
of
don't have
a
a lot
Great
of.
Dane?
No, greyhounds, the ones that they run in the races.
Yeah, they're not that big. They're very tiny dogs.
They're not tiny.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. I don't know if we're.
Well, a Great Dane would be cool too. Any kind of dog that's like elegant, I would really like. You know what
Okay,
I mean?
hold on. Maybe I am thinking of Great Dane. You know?
No, because a greyhound's like also it's pretty long. It's supposed to like
It's a long dog. Yeah, it's a big.
it's a long dog. It's not
big
like
long, and
huge.
you need a big crate for it. you
Great
know?
Danes are the big ones. Those.
Yeah.
My roommate actually had a Great Dane. Would always talk about this
Yeah.
Great Dane, and I've seen photos of it, and
Yeah.
like that bitch is huge.
Yeah. My high school buddy, he had 2 of them. They lived in a condo. It's a townhouse, so I guess it was 2 stories. But I don't know if it had a yard. I don't think it had a yard.
I feel like if you're gonna own a dog, you kind of need a yard.
You need a fucking yard. I always say, like, first of all, any dog I own is gonna pay its way. Like, it's gonna watch the bunnies, or it's gonna, guard the sheep.
It's gonna have
know?
it's gonna have a job.
Exactly.
Okay.
No free rides. It's a work. It's cattle.
Yeah.
It's not so much a pet. And yeah, absolutely. And do you think a dog wants? Imagine if you had to ask somebody every time. It's like, hey, can I go outside? Hey, do you mind? Can you unlock the door into the bathroom because I gotta take a shit?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're like, can you unlock the door to the bathroom? I gotta pee. You know what? I couldn't find you. The door was locked. I peed in the sink, and then somebody beats the shit out of you in the head and rubs and shoves your face into the sink. Can't do that again. It's like I tried to find you. It's not like I wanted to pee in the sink. I tried to get in the door, but it's not like you leave the door unlocked to the bathroom because you think I'll run away.
You saying most
know?
people with apartments are like they're just terrible dog owners. I don't blame you. They really are.
Yeah, they're like Guantanamo Bay fucking guards, It's like you eat what I say, you go piss and drink what you say. Don't you dare speak up. Don't you dare speak too loudly, A dog, I'm sure, wants to be a dog, You think a dog wants to lick its balls in front of you? No, it has to. He's like, I'll go in
how it
the other
cleans
room, dog, but I'm confined to the living room, And this is where you watch TV.
Nah, like I have my roommates, the way they treat their dog it's like
Yeah.
When they get mad at their dog, they get mad at their dog for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's low key like it's weird.
Is your family one of those that will pay hundreds or thousands for vet and medical bills of an animal, of a dog?
Every like 6 months, yeah.
Like, so let's say the dog got a broken leg. Would they pay for the surgery?
Yeah. Cause that's how much we fuck with our dogs, bro. We don't care. They one of us. It's like when your kid, like say your kid breaks his arm, like
Yeah.
you're not just gonna let him there with the broken arm for the rest of his like life. Like of course you're gonna take him to the doctor.
Yeah.
So like really, it just depends on the bond you have with your dog. If you're very abusive to your dog and you're
Yeah.
just like that, like you shouldn't own a dog.
Yeah, see, pets, dogs as pets,
Mm-hmm.
because as dogs as cattle, it needs to have a job, right? So
Mm-hmm.
guess what? It's like, how much does a dog cost versus, versus the vet bill versus, a 9mm casing, like, and it's like, okay, well, I can get a brand new dog.
Mm-hmm.
How much is a brand new dog? Like a few $100?
Probably even more. I think the last time I was looking for like just to see because my friend was talking about getting a dog. She let me know like she was like, oh, I'm just looking for
Say
like
$1,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so $1,000 for a dog, right? Let's say you get it has this genetic disease. It's gonna need $4,000 surgery every year, or just one bullet to the back of the head, and then I buy $1,000. Guess what? I just came up $3,000 up, meaning that I could get 4 of these dogs. So this dog can die 3 more times over, and I'm still net same amount of expenses.
On that note, yo,
This is
Wait,
America.
no.
This is a business, baby.
so instead of taking them to the doctor, you just take them out.
And that's farm life, you think a cow gets a broken leg that it gets fixed? It's like bang, no, like the feed. It's resource management. It's like you have a limited amount of feed, limited amount of money, limited amount of dollars, right? So it's like okay, I could spend $4,000 to save this dog, or I could spend $1,000 to get another one, and then now I have this $3,000 for other things that I have to, my fucking calf died last winter.
As cruel as that sounds, that's low key like it's affordable. It's an affordable way. Like
Do I sound cruel to you?
No. What I'm just saying is that like if there's options to like take it to like the vet, like I personally would. I'm not about to like old Yeller this dog.
Yeah.
But like everything has like a reason. There's an option for everything. It just depends on where you want to go with that.
So you're saying you believe that the care of our animals is in par with the technology that we have, right? Because back in the day, to your earlier example, if they break an arm, they'd be like, okay, we'll wrap it up best we can, and good luck.
And that's it, yeah.
Even if you're a human, this is the best we can do, baby,
Yeah. I mean, if we were living in times like then, sure, that'd be.
So why is it not fair for a dog, for an animal, right? No, and I'm not trying to sway you, but I think if we split the issue, it's like, okay, well, it was okay to do it to a human at some point. We got better tech. We were cool with doing it to animals up to a point, right? So where is the split, right? Like, do we perform? Does a dog get like an emotional care animal assigned to it? Because that's something we do for humans now that we didn't used to do, right? So it's like, does the dog they get an emotional support animal, or where's the line where we're like, okay, no, you can deal with the old technology that we use for these cases versus what we do for humans now?
Ooh, you got me stumped, and I'm not even high. Like that's a hard one to think about because it makes sense. Like, do they get all the things that we get too? Like, who are they entitled to that?
And what if it if it becomes ridiculous? Like the dog is like, oh no, you know what? My dog, the only emotional support animal that it responded to was an alpaca. So this is my the alpaca is not my emotional support animal. It's my emotional support animal's emotional support companion. Yeah,
Oh, that is so funny. That's like, it's like stacking dominoes on each other, and like no matter how far you get, it's just still the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, That's funny. That's funny to think about.
And as we're talking about it, right? It's because, right, like you could go that far, and it's like, but where's this arbitrary line drawn, right? Because at some point there is something, there's some line somewhere where dogs and animals are getting the treatment. It's like, well, you're not getting it the same treatment as a human. So it's like somebody in a third world country. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna get the PlayStation 5 when it comes out. You know, maybe in a couple months. You know, but so it's not with a broken thing, because we will, you know, we will cure a broken thing like we do for a human, right? But it's not so much as we'll let our animal have an emotional support animal, right? So it's somewhere between broken arm and emotional support animal, and it's just interesting to me, these arbitrary lines, you know, like, which is fun that they're arbitrary and that they exist, right? Because then I think if we're aware that they're like, okay, that's just what they are right now, then it's not so crazy if people behave differently in different contexts.
No,
know?
I like, because back to the argument of like whether or not like it's okay to get an animal just because you want it.
Yeah.
Like, I have no problem with anybody getting an animal. I just feel like you gotta be prepared for it. It's just like when somebody gets a like
Yeah.
from I'll use a real example for me. Like I just got a car, gotta work on.
We love animals in this show,
Yeah.
by the way. If that's not apparent, we love animals.
We live animals. Just fuck you, PETA. But
Well, I'm curious because, like, okay, what do you guys think about pet insurance then? Where you
Pet
pay,
insurance?
where you pay like $15-$30 a month, whatever it is. I don't know how much it is.
is
And
that how much it
basically-
is?
I don't know.
a
But it's
scam.
like
That's what
pet
I'm telling
insurance, and like if your pet needs to go to the vet, if it gets into an accident, it's just like people insurance.
Oh, I didn't know that kind
You know,
of thing
there's
existed.
if anybody from a Hispanic like background is listening to this, they're like, estos gringos concha su madre.
Con su
Can't
insurance?
Can't think of other shit to spend the money on than pet insurance. You're
No.
fucking kidding me? We got mouths to feed over here.
If it's not car insurance or house insurance, they don't want to hear it.
Listen, it's like like, yeah, it's like that's how stray insurance came about. That's how the general came about. It was like, minorities being like, what's the least amount of insurance that I legally need, because it's a scam.
Did I tell you about the time when I got the new car? Like my dad reacting to Gap insurance.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so fucking strange how like calm and collected these Latinos are when they go and they make these big purchases. Like, oh yeah, I got everything. Watch this, and then we get to the last part where it's like, do you want Gap insurance? The most important insurance you low key kind of need for a new car. And my dad's like, no, fuck that. No, scam. You just want to make money, and it's like, it's like, but low key that one was like the most important one.
Maybe he was just surprised because it sounded new. It's like, Gap insurance. I already pay for car insurance. What's the Gap? No. I don't pay for Gap insurance. No, not necessary.
No, any kind of insurance that isn't the important ones.
Because how the fuck are you supposed to, like in America, right? Like if you're coming from a different country, America is all about you're being upsold on everything. So how the fuck are you supposed to know when it's, oh no, you need this, or this is helpful, or you're just upselling me, right? Because they all carry some value of like, yeah, you'll get this amount or the level of value. It costs you this much per month or whatever, right?
And then most of the time when that situation ends up happening and you have to use the insurance, then there's what is it called? Like a deposit, like an upfront deposit that you gotta pay first.
Or the deductible.
The deductible.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought this is what this was, and then you kind of figure out like which ones are which when the moment comes.
I think they do this deductible shit, so that people don't realize how much of a scam it is, because I feel they do like the full, like the deductible is always like, it's always at 500 or in the thousands for if we're talking about car or medical shit, right? So it's like all of a sudden, like, because if they put it into the price of the monthly price, it would jack up that monthly price and be like, people would be like, fuck that, but they can save it for the deductible time. So it's like, okay, now, you're paying us and there's a risk on us that maybe we don't have to pay anything because you're under the deductible.
You ever had phone insurance?
Oh yeah, I mean, but it's a scam. That's another scam.
So, because obviously we know I work at a phone store.
I think I have phone insurance now. If I'll be real.
Oh, really?
Probably. I don't know.
No.
I don't know what I'm paying for.
No, sometimes people at the job we'll call it what's it called? Ah, fuck, I forgot what it was called. There's a funny term that they have for it. I laugh slam an account.
Slam an account?
When you slam an account, you
an account. Okay.
Yeah, when you slam an account.
That's a lot less offensive than what
So when you slam an account, you add extra shit like to the customer's account that, they don't even know about. Yeah. Brother. So some of the stuff that like I saw or that I was told about, they were like, oh yeah, people would like slam like phone, like the most expensive phone insurance on there without them knowing, and then they're 6 months later they go and they check their phone bill finally, and they're like, why? What is this? Yeah. And then they come back pissed, and it's just like, oh well, they didn't tell you.
Sorry, you're not quick on this, fucking grandpa.
It's really bad. Like that shouldn't happen, but like it's very funny to like. Because people will come in and be like, phone broken, like, help me. And I'll be like, I can't do shit about it. Let me just help you file this claim. And then they'll be like, I don't have insurance. And when I look into their account, it's like, no, you do, though. Yeah. You've had it there since, like, 2021.
Yeah.
And then they'd get surprised, but they'd be like, all right, well, good.
They're like, I lost my house because I couldn't pay the mortgage. I was this much short. The insurance amount short.
$45. For 4 phones. But like I feel like now there's like phone insurance should be one of the one of the top 4 insurances you should have. Because I mean, I don't know. I see people's phones every day and it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I got an alternative for you. And this would probably, I don't know who makes the decision, but you make free phone insurance. But this phone makes it so that you accept all the cookies from all the websites and all the apps, so that then you truly are the product. It's like, guess what? We'll replace this for free, but, we get access to all your data,
Oh.
Like, what if it was a cheaper version even of the phone? Cheaper phone,
but
free
we get
insurance,
to track, but they get to track all your shit?
They get to track everything. They get to track everything, all this shit, and they're like, we'll, there will be some benefits, like the fact that your phone's very cheap and it's replaceable. You'll never have to, and free upgradable. So you always have, like the latest version of your phone. But the trade-off is that, guess what? They get to access all of your data. And they tell you, it'll be anonymous,
Do you know who would fight that, though? Apple. Apple will fight that because Apple already kind of has all your data. They make it seem like, oh, like, don't worry, we're like the most secure like company. Yeah. We're not doing anything with this data whatsoever. This is, just know your data's safe and secured and nobody's looking at it. The fact if an insurance came out like that, like, oh, we track all your data, you just get a free phone anytime you break it. Apple's gonna be like, nope, not for iPhones. And then they're gonna make a better Apple Care. Oh, sorry, better Apple Care.
Why better?
Because then they'll do exactly what you just said, except instead of making it free, they'll only charge like you can buy data for like $1.
Yeah.
Make it like $2.
Yeah.
A subscription they charge you through iTunes.
Yeah.
Then not only do you like, oh, we already don't look at your data, you're safe, but really they do. And then it's like, you'll get a free phone on us. But then it's like, it's just some shitty replacement, like some refurbished shit. Like they already do that anyway now without the data stealing and shit like that. But like, it's just weird.
But let's say it's not insurance. Let's say the insurance is provided by the carrier, because you're right. It has to be somebody with enough weight to be able to be like, okay, well, we're, like maybe even like the 2 biggest carriers, they make a partnership, so that they have to push Apple to like, so that way, like the end effect being, whether it's Apple, the carrier, or somebody, that there is such a version, but you get everything tracked for the purposes of, the marketing to you or whatever. What percentage of the population signs on board?
Mm-hmm. But like, I could see where that would actually happen, but Apple's incredibly stubborn.
Yeah.
I feel like if that were to ever happen, and then like the two top carriers are like, "Hey, Apple, join us on this. Like, we promise you it benefits you. Like,
Yeah.
it's no big deal." Apple's just gonna be like, "No, let me do it better." Or quote unquote better, and then they start their own carrier, and then it's like, oh fuck.
Okay, so let's say that Apple does it. Does that then mean that how many people, like out of, how many people out of 10 are signing up for this cheaper, always new cell phone service? But guess what? You get to track all my shit,
This is the thing about salesmen is that sometimes salesmen have an interesting way. What's that term? Silver tongue.
Yeah.
It's just like you could mention everything to the customer.
Yeah.
You can mention it in a way where they technically aren't really paying attention, but they just hear all the big points,
Yeah.
So like you could, because I know for me, trying to pitch something like that is kind of like, it'd be super easy for someone that already has insurance and is trying to switch to a cheaper option.
Yeah.
Already super easy. Here, let me lower your bill. Or for someone that doesn't have insurance and still on the fence about it, I mean, a lower costing insurance that only adds like $2 extra.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super easy to do that. It's just not a lot of people are paying attention. So then later on, like when it does happen and they don't know all the little shit that I just told them about, they come back pissed and it's like, I told you this. You were just dumb to not remember.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen in the fake scenario that we just made. That happens today. Like that shit happens today. Okay. And it's so annoying. I just, like I feel like people just want the phone to have a phone.
Yeah.
And then and this is gonna be into a whole different discussion. It's just like I feel like people don't deserve the phones they have today.
Oh, okay. Tell me more about this.
I really
people don't deserve the phones they have today.
Yeah, it's some
Does
fun.
this include Andy, who's on her phone as she's switching this show, taking it very seriously? Yeah. Okay.
Like I just feel like people that don't take the time to know what they bought, and then like I'm gonna give you an example. I get so many.
I feel like we're gonna be in this category, Andy, of people that don't deserve the phones they have.
I feel like people that come into the store and lock themselves out.
Yeah.
You shouldn't own a smartphone. People that lock themselves out of their phone every day, come into the store asking to see if there's any way we can fix it.
Yeah.
There's zero ways any normal salesman knows how to fix it. Me, I know what the fuck I'm doing with these phones.
Yeah.
So I know how to factory reset a phone straight with the phone off. I can I've done research in that because I know I get hella people coming in, and it frustrates me that like at some point I didn't know how to help them.
Yeah.
But then after learning and looking into this shit, like I can help them.
Yeah.
But that loses me money because then I don't have time to deal with them.
Sell.
Because I'm not going to sell them anything. I'm just fixing their fucking problem.
So what happens if does it ever happen that you have somebody that maybe doesn't speak much English? They're like, ayuda, por favor. And you're like, no hablo English, lady. I got to sell to this person.
So then that's where like... so... There's
because you're not Mother Teresa here.
No, I'm not.
But you gotta eat. You gotta make like cheddar.
If I can, because there's ways I could like make an exception and be like, oh, you have an opportunity in your account.
Yeah.
Where I could make some money off of you. Duh, I'm gonna help you really quick, and then while I'm helping you fix your problem, let you know there are ways you could save with these options. When in reality, you're just bundling shit that just makes it look like it's like less money, but then
goddamn,
it's odd to me that like I just there's other places that can do this shit. There's Geek Squad.
Yeah,
they're primary.
My mom loves Geek Squad, by the way.
Yeah,
she goes in there and then they help her and she pays them.
Yeah, like they're legally there to help you, or like,
I don't know if legally is technically, but it's the term.
Well, I use
because guess what? Somebody and I'm just starting to understand this. Now that I'm in my late 30s, and it's I agree with what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but here's the caveat that let's say those people, like my mom, probably fit in this category. the way of transacting and the way that they used to do it is no longer less and less supported.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for example, you know, like you used to be able to call and do something on the phone, perhaps. Well, now it's all automated and kind of like, you know how sometimes the mobile side is more limited in function than if you go on it on a iPad or on a laptop, right?
Yeah, the mobile view versus like
Right.
because you can ask for the desktop view,
Yeah,
but then it doesn't look that like it looks even more complicated.
Yeah, so it's all of a sudden like they're making it like so that they have a limited thing of what they can do over the phone. The things are not as intuitive, and it's like, oh, well, how do where I find my account ID? They have the paper statements, sure, but it's like, well, everything else, everybody's always pushing them towards their smartphone. Oh, just download the app. Well, if they have a phone that can't download those apps because it's the phone they deserve, or that they'd probably be more comfortable with, right? Something with keys. They took away the keys, right? Like there are no phones with keys, are much harder to get, and if easy to get, expensive, right? Like if you're not getting a discount because they're less common, less of a manufacturer, right? All of a sudden they're pushed to these alternatives because the ones that the routes they used to use no longer are available, and then they don't know how to fucking handle this thing. You know, like my mom's like they get scammed because they don't know, and then all of a sudden they'll receive, hey, you know, like we're from Amazon regarding your your recent transaction. Almost everybody's had a recent transaction. Okay, log in online. You know, like log into here. They get hit with like they're just so. This is one thing that you know, it's like the learning is all of a sudden. I agree with you. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have these phones, but the way that there is no other alternative for them because the way they used to do it, you know, like now landlines will cost an astronomical amount, right? Everything like, and it will becomes more and more expensive because fewer and fewer people are providing it because everybody's, you know, doing the little jumping on tower bandwidth to sell their cell phone service, right? Then it's like, then the expectation is that, well, you're going to have to learn, bitch, you know? Simple as that.
I can understand the complexity of learning these, like the mini computers we have in our pockets, but like, I also feel like, because when the first phone came out, they did the same thing. They had to learn. They had to, you know, figure out how to work it. Sure, it was a lot easier because it's the fucking rotary phone. Like you just, you know.
I'm not saying that with such contempt.
Like I'm not.
You're like, what monkey? You can't figure out which of the 9 fucking holes to stick your goddamn finger in? Huh?
I'm
or
not
12
saying
holes.
like,
However many holes were in that fucking thing.
I only use that example because that was like the beginning of telephones. Is that like you know you started with the rotary phone and then you moved to like the buttons and then you know now we got the flip phones and then. You know, at-home phones are starting to turn digital. Yeah. And then you get your smartphone. It's like we've had to learn, and sure, we've had to keep up, and I get it that there's an older generation, like, you know, like 70, 80, 90 that don't even, you know, I'd be surprised if a 90-year-old has a smartphone, but like 60, 70, 80, where they're like learning these, and they have to go to these classes or whatever, like, it sucks to me that there's people in their family that would not help them. And so they come to our stores and they'll be like, could you please help me? Like, I don't know how to do this. I would more than happy to. I don't give a fuck if I lose a sale. Like, you need help. You need help with this device, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to show you how to call, text. I'm going to show you how to fucking watch YouTube. Yeah. But, like, what I'm saying is there's people that are, like, in my age range, come in with a fucking destroyed phone. Like, yo, I need to get a new phone. Like, I don't care what I have to pay for, like this and that. Like, just look at this. Or they'll do one better. They'll just walk in, look at you. I'll be like, hi, welcome to this store. Yeah. How may I help you? And I'll be like, what the fuck do you want me to do? You haven't told me your fucking problem. Yeah. Like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, nice phone. It's got a fucking, I could see the insides of it. Like, what's wrong with it?
I'm telling you, we're doomed with this generation.
It's like, over. It's fucking stupid. And then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know I had insurance on this. oh, you were there the entire conversation where we made your quote and shit like that.
They're doing your Gen Z's favorite pastime, dissociating. They were not there at the moment.
Yeah.
You think they were there because they seemed like they were there, but they were not.
The breathing fucking vegetable while I'm trying to like tell them how do you like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Oh, dude. I get it that these companies charge fees too.
Yeah.
But when I explain to you that this is going to happen, the first bill, and then you come back to my store like 28 days later.
Yeah.
And like, what's this extra charge? Didn't I fucking tell you you're getting an activation fee? Like, didn't I tell you that, oh, since you changed your account midway through the month and they're still working on
Maybe
your bill?
they didn't hear you through the silver tongue, you know?
Well, I mean.
You're speaking, Slytherin to them.
I can't blame myself for being a really good salesman. I just have to blame the people that don't listen to everything I tell them. Because they're just like, oh, this is an important information. And then, like, they fucking brush it off like it's nothing. Yeah. But then again, like, there's
you ever tell people, you should be writing this down?
No. I don't tell people that.
He's like, fuck them for not remembering.
No, what?
These pieces of shit. We're so excited to get their phone. You know, if they remember, oh, yeah, by the way, there's this activation fee. You're going to get the next one. But you're really going to love this phone. Let me show you how to get on YouTube. He's like, but I don't, you piece of shit. You can't remember the activation fee that I mentioned very clearly after I mentioned 1,000 other things on you, you old fuck.
But I email this to them.
Fuck you. You don't deserve this phone that I just sold you. Give it back to me.
No, but I give them copies of everything I give them. Like, their emails have this. I have it in my email. So that the day they come in, I'm just like, here, let me show you what I wrote you up that day.
Yeah.
So that you can look fucking stupid in front of me.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, like, I just get so tired of people coming in like, oh, you know, you're this company and you got to live up to these expectations. And it's like, no, fuck you. You literally came in here looking for a phone. I gave you your options. I told you what was going to happen. Yeah. And then now look at you. You fucking twiddling your thumb because you couldn't afford a McChicken. Now you're fucking over here wondering what's up with your phone bill.
I think I understand the silver tongue thing. It's kind of like dating a bipolar chick, you know? She's going to be sweet to you one time when she's selling you that phone. And it's like, you piece of shit. Didn't you hear me? What I said to you last time we saw each other? Now I'm here to help you. I'm supposed to help you. And the next time, they come in, it's like, oh, there's an upsell opportunity on this if I fucking help them. Oh, yeah, I just had a long day last time. Hey, man, I apologize if it came off. Let me help you something. Also, did you know that you can save when this happens?
Hey, man, sales is a hard game to really, because you either are there to sell or you're there to just look nice and then get fired in like a couple of months.
God damn. Because this motherfucker's like coffees for closers.
Because if your numbers aren't up, what the fuck are you doing there? Like, you're not making the company money. Like, of course you're going to get fired. Yeah. And it's like,
true.
And it's a tough life, dude. You either are in sales to make your money. You make what you want. Mm-hmm. You're making your check. Sure, some places like will give you hourly and then your commission, but in reality, it's you that makes your check. So I don't want to hear you complaining next payday that, oh, damn, my check is so low. And it's like, you didn't work. You took 1-2 customers a day and then was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm tired. Lunchtime, 2 breaks. Yeah, let me go ahead and... It's like, it's dumb. I don't know. Like, I should...
So you got to hustle in sales.
You really got to hustle, yeah. And I'm not the best salesman. I'm saying all this shit like I'm the best guy in the world.
I believe me. You got me hyped. I'm like...
I'm not good at what I do.
You're like, sell me this screwdriver. You're like... Joke's on you, it's not a screwdriver, it's a wine key. Listen, that's your first mistake.
There's people at my job that I look up to, like, because they do their shit and they make their numbers. Yeah. And then there's people that are like there with me that I'm just like, you guys are fun times. I like you guys.
Yeah, you're like, but I'm not gonna see you in 2 months. You fucking piece of shit. No, fucking slacker.
So like everyone at my job, they're all pretty good at what they do. They've all been there for a fat minute. Like, I mean, granted, like some of us get lazy. That's true. Yeah. I know I do. I know I get lazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have bad months. Everybody has a bad month. Yeah. We're all human. We're not fucking Mr. Roboto. We're not selling everything.
Do you ever plan? You're like, you know what? This next month, I'm going to fuck off. and I'll chalk it up to a bad month and then bounce back.
The only time I would ever do that is if I've had like a streak of good months.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
yeah,
then like the 1 month that I kind of take it easy on.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go on vacation. By the way,
The company I work for is strict though.
oh,
In sales, like they're always wanting us to like upsell and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Like work is work.
Where does that all go, right? Because I think because of this upsell, right, is where we have this dog insurance, all this other bullshit, right? Like all of a sudden, like
All this useless shit.
all these goddamn streaming services, where like you have all the streaming services, and then now you got to pay Sling TV $40 a month to watch TV, which used to be $40 for the entire lineup of cables, channels, right, or something like that. 40,
Now
50
it's all a
bucks.
selective thing. You know what I think happened? Do you remember a couple years ago when like the internet was like on a verge of like being like everything's like gonna be sold to you separately, like nothing's free anymore? Do you remember that? Yeah, I feel like ever since that happened and companies were like buckling down, like, oh hey, don't worry, like just this. I forgot what it was called. I feel stupid that I forgot, but like it's. Companies were like, "Oh, don't worry, we're not gonna charge you extra fees just for using our sites. We're gonna keep it open." And then
the throttling thing because of like the big companies could buy chunks of bandwidth, so that they're
So then in reality, none of those companies really kept their word because like everyone's fucking upcharging, everyone's selling you extra shit.
Everything is an upcharge, man. Like you pay for literally every little, everybody nickel and dime you.
It's weird because everybody forgot about that. And like to this day, people are like, oh, why the fuck is Twitter going to sell me like a premium? Or like, why is YouTube TV? I don't need that. Like I watch my shit on YouTube. And then you find that you could subscribe to like the different YouTube channels, like extra money.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
that subscriptions, it's like on top, it's like everywhere. Plus money. Oh, you can have plus money on top of your plus money? No, there's plus money extra.
Like it's cool that you can do that to support like the anybody that you really wanted to support. Nobody's going to tell you what to do with your money, but the idea that you were going to make you were claiming a couple years ago, like, oh, don't worry, we're going to be free. No, none of that fucking extra bullshit. Like we're good. Don't worry, your privacy's safe.
Yeah.
And then they just like it slowly creeped in and nobody noticed it.
I think it's creeped in even into our community. Andy and I have talked about this recently, and I love you all, by the way. Let me preface this with, I love you all. Okay? But everybody wants to have a fucking paid Patreon nowadays, and it's like, motherfucker, nobody's going to pay for your shit if nobody has a little taste of the show. Like, why are you so focused on a Patreon? I look at the subscribers, 0 subscribers, 0 Patreons, and it's like, just fucking put it on fucking YouTube or fucking Twitter or TikTok or somewhere for free, build a following and then do bonus, or do something extra, right? Or, like, what the fuck are you having people pay $5, whatever it is, $1? Like, is the $1 really making a difference in your life, or would the viewer and the growth be a better return on the investment of that dollar? Like, is $5 worth just 5 people watching your shit, or is not going forsaken $5 a month worth getting maybe 50, 100 views on your stuff or more?
So I agree with you on that. I feel like if your subscriber count isn't at least 4 digits or above, you shouldn't have a Patreon.
100%.
Like, because
you don't deserve this phone or the Patreon.
Because, like, why? What I'm saying, Patreon. I don't know where the fuck I wanted to go with this. See, now I'm angry at that shit.
Yeah, it's like next time they're gonna be like, also, if you want to see what's going on in my life, subscribe to my OnlyFans. That's where I put my day-to-day content. It's like everything's a fucking upcharge.
I agree. I don't like that idea. That like if you're starting out, like, shouldn't you start small? I mean, I get the idea of like thinking big, but you shouldn't go big as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. How are you gonna get a word of mouth if it's behind a paywall?
Yeah, because like the way we work, this Manly Girly and like a side of fries. I started the Twitch channel. Yeah, but that's free. Anybody can come and watch that shit.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about moving to YouTube gaming though, but like there's so many free options for anybody to really watch this show. I'm not. If I got to put a paywall behind it, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how many people are actually watching this series, but like, I mean, if Manly Girly would have started Patreon right now and be like, oh, here, sign up for the Patreon, $5 a month, like, you might just get $5 a month every 4 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
What, are you trying to cut us off or something?
Free speech. USA.
Yeah,
USA.
Look down from your phone to notice, that you've been on one camera the whole time.
We're gonna clown you for the phone this entire time.
You don't deserve that phone. That phone owns you.
What kind of phone is that? Do you know?
It's an 11. Don't even.
Yeah. No.
No, it's much newer than that.
No, that looks like a 13 Pro Max.
What generation are we at?
That camera looks huge.
Yeah. The latest one.
You have the 14 Pro Max?
Yeah, so she's going to 13.
See? Yeah, you don't deserve that phone.
You don't even know what phone it is.
So I had an 11.
Uh-huh.
It was lavender. And it was so pretty.
Okay.
But I gave it to my son.
You gave him the lavender phone? No.
I didn't want to.
I like that he's like, he's right now, Alex is thinking, no mention of specs, no nothing, just lavender. That's what makes it a good phone, huh? You don't deserve your phone.
150 watt battery. No, I don't even look into specs like that. The only thing I care about are like the main focus on the phone. If like, because I got to know like what the customers want.
Yeah.
Oh, I want something that takes good photos. Oh, okay, well let me recommend you 2 different phones on 2 different spectrums.
Yeah.
Google Pixel or an iPhone. Google Pixel arguably had, and I say had because another phone just came out that has literally the best camera in the world right now.
What's it called?
The Galaxy S23 Ultra. The S23 came out last week, and boy, oh boy, that phone looks fucking saucy.
You're like, time to rope in some suckers with this silver tongue. You want a Samsung 23 Ultra?
It was easy to sell an S23 Ultra during like the beginning of the month because they had a pre-order time from like the 1st and the 17th.
How many phones have happened since? Because I just upgraded from an S9 Plus. So how many generations have been since the S9 Plus? How many phones is that ago?
S9, S9 Plus, S10, S10 Plus, S20, S20 FE, S20 FE Plus, S21, S21, S Plus, S20. A lot.
So at least 5, because S10, S20, 1, 2, 3. So at the very least 5 phones plus any mid-generation.
Yeah, like the S series. S series skipped 11 through 19. Like it just went straight to 20.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that would come into the store and they'd be like, dude, I want an iPhone, but I have an Android and I'm not trying to give up any of that simplicity.
Yeah.
Or I'm not trying to give up any of that. I said simplicity. That's for iPhone.
Yeah.
They're trying to just make sure they can do everything that they've been doing on the Android, on the iPhone. And it's like, well, don't go iPhone. Go with Google.
Yeah.
Because Google phones are like the middle way.
But you know what? Now I've recently I've stayed away and it might not seem like it.
You haven't even changed your wallpaper. That's wild.
I haven't. Yeah, I don't deserve this phone. This Andy doesn't deserve the phone that she's ignoring us over. If this is not squeaky clean, you can add I am Guy, bitch. I used to do tech support in my high school, right? Like, so we ran like with a few friends the internal tech support because it was led by the tech guy, Mr. Meyer. Shout out, Mr. Meyer, who was like the networking guy and the tech guy. He taught some class as well, but he also was a network administrator. So he ran the tech help desk, but it was student run. So the students went and like fixed the issues, right? So back then, a PC, okay, what do we need to change out? Like the power supply, the video card or something. If there was anything, okay, take care of it. Need needs a new Ethernet card or whatever, or we needed to just reset it, load a new operating system on it, whatever. But a Mac, and it was those like multicolor Macs, the big monitor. It was pretty much just restart it or whatever, and then send it back to Apple. There's nothing you can do on it.
Yeah, because Apple has.
Yeah, Apple is the only one that can work on their fucking machines. And ever since then, it's like, well, you can't do shit on it. And then back then, it was the one they didn't have a right click, which, sorry, but PC has it over Apple, like the right click. But so I stayed away for such a long time. And the fact that once you're in the ecosystem, they just want to keep you in there. It's like Apple Watch, Apple fucking thing. And I found it's because it's so goddamn convenient. It is useful. It's more useful than you almost forget about, like, oh, well, fuck it if they have access to everything,
I think that's the thing that Apple flourishes the most.
It's like dating an abusive boyfriend. It's like, well, fuck it if he just beats the shit out of me every day.
Oh, my God.
Like, when he's nice, he really loves me intensely.
Like I was saying, I think Apple really flourishes in the ecosystem, like tech life.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can get a computer, and back then, what was the main computer that you'd always get? A Dell computer.
Yeah, you do. You're getting a Dell.
Yeah, you get a Dell. Oh, okay, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Apple, whenever they first started coming out of their stuff, it wasn't even phones. It was music, iTunes, and then
iTunes, yeah.
It was iTunes and then the iPods.
Yeah.
And then, because they came out with the first gen
Which
iPod.
that old school iPod's still fire.
I still got one.
Yeah. I think I have one somewhere because but they can't control the music that's on that one.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, once again, making you pay for every little fucking thing, Because at some point, the music loaded into iTunes will end up because there won't be people migrating songs anymore. Anybody that's already migrating. So now everything in there is for pay. And they can jack up the rates. Kind of like I tell Andy, like the last Blu-ray that gets minted, goodbye to the freedom of entertainment, because then it's like you're going to be paying individually, like, what they haven't done yet? It's like, guess what? Right now you can have they're fucking with ad-free versions or Atlas versions or whatever, right? But what if they had, oh, well, guess what? There's ads on all the movies. But guess what? You can pay per movie. Maybe it's something small, like 10 or 20 cents to get rid of the ads for this movie.
Do you think it would change depending on which ad it is or which movie it is? Because I feel like a big blockbuster movie would have more ads.
Yeah.
And then like a small short film or like an indie movie would have like one or two, and then
or maybe it goes off that, maybe it goes of runtime or whatever, right? And so it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch Avatar or Titanic. I know it's 2.5 hours. I'm gonna have to watch 6 ads that are 2 minutes long. You know what? Yeah, I'll pay 30 cents to just it's date night, And all of a sudden, little by little, without knowing it, 30 cents here. You're like, oh, it's just 30 cents. It's just 20 cents. Oh, this one's on sale. It's just 10 cents to take the ads off. All of a sudden, now they got dollars from people that would be free subscribers. Kind of like it would be like the new freemium, but applied to the entertainment consumption model.
Yeah, I wonder what that would look out if that actually did happen. That'd be kind of fuck movies then.
It's like, what's free anymore? What is like, what's free anymore? Can you still you know what? We should get some fucking bunny ear goddamn antenna, plug that bitch in, and be like, what's free anymore? Manly Girly exclusive. And you and I, we should film in Spanish some help videos for Manly Girly. It's like how to do the things. All this bullshit people that need your help at your job. Well, let's help them online.
Oh, well, there's people for that. Yeah.
Okay, well.
We don't got to do that. We don't got to do that. Yeah, we've got other people for that. People that are better, that are more fluent.
So why are they? Well, I'm fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, well, I'm low key not.
Well, we'll make you fluent. It'll be funnier. Because how are these people not finding those goddamn YouTube channels then?
Well, because the thing that this is funny. I laugh at this every time I get a phone from like a Spanish family.
Yeah.
Is that They never changed the English to Spanish on their phones, and like they come into the store like I can't find shit like this and that, and it's like, well, it's not in your language, duh.
Well,
And nobody bothered to change it for them, and that's fair. Like you don't want to assume or anything like that, but I mean,
this is how we can play it. I would do the 2 years in a row, sorry to interrupt. I'd be like, discúlpeme, señor, no tengo, and then because I'm fluent, I'll play the scared Hispanic that doesn't know that you're about to sell them some fucking activation fee next goddamn month. That is like, carajo, I got this bill. You sold me this phone. You didn't tell me that there's more.
I'm a little bit nicer to the Spanish people that don't read their bills. I'm a little more harsher with like everybody that does read their bills.
Yeah.
And it's like, you kind of knew what was happening. I make it a point to always make sure that the Spanish community that I do help know. Like I spend like an extra 30 minutes just letting them know, like, don't get fucked over because they will fuck you over. Like, just make sure you check your bill. Because if you don't, and whatever ever happens in the future, like, I'll make it a point to call customer service with you.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I'll do that for them. Like, and anybody else that, like, I'm not, like, trying to just stay with the Spanish.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes to the store that looks like they frantically need help. Yeah. Sure, you got my help. Come on, here, I got you. But if you're coming in and you're gonna be a dick about it, then fuck you. You know what I mean?
And I like that nice disclaimer in the back end. You know, he's like, just to be clear, you know.
Yeah, because I don't want to.
It's not only if you're Hispanic, you know.
Yeah.
I accept all peoples, you know.
I was going to say, I come in and you're just like, oh, this dumb bitch, this dumb white bitch, she just broke her phone. I'm not going to help her. Give her an activation
Have
fee.
your white privilege figure out how to use your phone.
Dude, there was one time a customer came in and was like angry. They were like mad because they spent like months trying to get with the insurance company to like help them out. And like he was being a dick for real, like at first. But when I sat down and was like helping him, like I got to know him, like he was a veteran. He like fought in the Vietnam War, this and that. Like he had a lot of PTSD. He was homeless for like 6 or 7 years.
He's like, you look like one of those boys I put in that ditch. I'm sorry, son. Yeah.
And he was talking to me and we were just having a chat while we were waiting on customer service. Yeah. We were on the phone for like an hour and a half waiting for them to even reach us. Yeah. And then we finally get to someone and I let them know like, hey, this gentleman has been like through it all. Like we're just trying to get him some help, trying to get his information.
Yeah, he's gonna kill everybody in the fucking building if you don't help this.
And we get to the point where like,
sorry, support our troops.
I like get to the point where I tell him like, could you like just help us out? Like, what's wrong with this process? And so we figured it out. He just never knew how to properly do the application. So I walked him through it.
He's like, that's how I got to NAM. Yeah.
And we got the guy. He's like, all right, cool. So we got it set up on my end. Like, just give me a sec. I'm going to review it and we'll see if we can, do this. And he puts me on hold again. And I'm like, oh, we finally got farther. Yeah. And the gentleman was like praising me. He was like, dude, thank you so much. Like, you're the only person that has ever helped me, this and that. And I felt like pretty nice about it, right? I was like, cool, finally, I'm going to get this guy the help he needs. Yeah. And then the line cuts off. The line cuts off with the customer service. And I look at the phone because I heard it go doot doot, when the line cuts. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I did not just spend.
Do you think the customer service rep on the other end is like, he's like, fuck that baby killer.
Like I'm like frantically like, no, I gotta call him back. Like this is and the guy's like, it's okay. Like,
and then he's like, don't worry about it, son. Boom.
He's like, the guy's like, the guy's looking at me because he knows that I'm like upset that he just hung up and I'm like trying to get it back. He's like, it's okay, son. Like, I don't think they need us anymore. I think we got the problem fixed. And I look at him like, I just failed you, man. Like, I didn't do my job. And he's like, it's okay. Like, I'm sure they'll call back. It sounds like they got all the information. And he was like, thank you for all your help. Gives me a handshake. And he's like, we need more people like you working these stores or whatever. He gave me some like very inspiring, like some nice comment. And I just stood there like heated. I was mad. I was like sad.
You know that guy like blew his brains out after he hung up the phone with you, right? Because he's like, you know what? Don't worry about it, son. This was my last straw. I'm just not made for this world anymore. This world don't pass me by, and I ain't seen to be able to catch up with the train.
Listen, I was so sad. I walked to the back. And my friend who's working with me, She looks at me and she's like, dude, are you okay? I was like, I need a moment. I'm going to the office. So I go to the manager's office and I fucking bawl. I start crying. I'm just like, dude, I just failed this dude. I've never felt so dedicated to like helping him, only to fail. And then like I walk on, I'm like, I can't be a bitch about this.
Would it have made it change your mind if you knew that he had done some horrible things in Vietnam?
I'm trying to make a buck, dog.
Yeah.
But I mean, he seemed like a cool dude. He was telling me like his life story and shit. It related a lot to me because remember,
he's like, oh, by the way, before you get off, sir, don't forget about the activation fee you're gonna get next month. You know, like. But I'm glad I was able to help you. Was he one of the people that you're like, oh well, he's got a possible upgrade, so let's handle that real quick, and then I'll get you with customer service.
You know what's funny? He did have a possible upgrade. It was like completely out of mind. Like sometimes I kind of just forget that I'm a salesman and I'm just trying to help them. But like I've had a lot of people I've told like just go to the Apple store, like they got you, or like go to Best Buy. Ooh, yeah. There's a lot of tech talk. I never asked you, what'd you do for Valentine's Day?
What do? We ordered in, right?
I think so. No, I made salmon.
You made salmon?
Well,
so what happened was I came home and Arturo had done the dishes. I know, and I was so excited.
You do chores?
He does.
Sometimes. But even though I'm busy at work, but sometimes I make the extra effort to step away from the desk and do the things,
The thing of it is I'm not a big out on Valentine's Day kind of person. I worked in a restaurant.
It's a fake holiday.
Yeah.
Not even just that. I worked in a nice restaurant on Valentine's Day when I was in college, and I was like, oh, this is terrible.
This is shit. Yeah.
This is garbage, and you're going to pay so much money for this terrible, terrible experience? No.
Because I go do it any other night of the week. You'll like, get your favorite meal or go somewhere. It's probably going to be better than trying to get in at busy lines on Valentine's Day,
But you don't ever think about like planning ahead though? Like reservations and stuff like that? Or is that like a...
I'm not talking about reservations. Even if you get in there, it's crowded. The staff are
overworked.
They're just trying to turn tables. The portions are always going to be smaller and shittier. Like when you go to a restaurant on Valentine's Day, you are not getting that restaurant experience. You are getting the Valentine's Day experience, and it ain't good.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like, they got to turn the tables. They're selling in bulk. They're like, this special that usually would be X amount, let's bump it by like 10%. On the price, like everything's an upsell, like.
Well, I mean, I went to Hot Pot for Valentine's Day. You ever have Hot Pot?
No.
So Hot Pot, if it's not called Hot Pot, it's called Chinese fondue.
Okay.
So there's no cheese involved. It's literally just a big bowl of soup in the middle of the table, and it's constantly boiling.
Okay.
So what you would do is you would pick and choose the meats, the vegetables, anything extra you want on the side.
Yeah.
And then they'll bring it to you in like big, like long trays of like big amounts. Like you and a party of people would come and eat that. So me and my friend, shouts out to Kit, we orchestrated like a Valentine's Day Friends Day kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
like a Valentine's Day, but mixed.
Except, so she brought because we're all friends in this small group. Like her boyfriend, she brought her boyfriend, and we invited another one of our friends.
Yeah,
and we all just had fun. We had we drank soju. Like we had a bunch of food.
Yeah,
like, it was sick. Like for the first time, like Valentine's Day was very peaceful. It was like it wasn't a day where I was dreading every woman that has broken my heart. Like I got to hang out with like all the friends that I really enjoyed being around, because this was the same group that I went New Year's with. Yeah. And like anytime I'm with that group, like they're so much fun.
Well, just once you kick off, just make it up by cracking clams, cracking them open and cleaning them out, like for every broken heart that you've received.
Yeah, I don't even...
and then it'll fill it up like Link, like boop, 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 boop. Yeah.
I like... Because Valentine's Day, to me, used to be like... Valentine's Day used to be the worst holiday for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it was just a day that I'm constantly reminded that... and I looked at it...
Tell me, is Valentine's Day where you lost That Nintendo DS that you gifted it? Did you
That
gift
was
it?
Christmas.
Oh, Christmas. It was a gifting holiday.
Yeah.
Damn. I thought it was Valentine's Day. Damn, that's even worse.
Valentine's Day, because, I mean, you remember in school where, like,
Yeah.
they, there's the day where everybody passes all their cards and shit.
Yeah.
It was never, like, fun for me, like, because you had to do it.
Well, in America, but not in Peru.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
I don't know how it was in Peru. I bet you guys are just gifting, coconuts
I don't think
and
it's
shit.
as big. I think it's, like, only for people in relationships mostly, you know?
Yeah, so that's why it was a huge bother for me.
Here people give their children, right, Valentine's Day things.
Yeah.
You know?
But I always thought
that's
was
what we
like,
call. Well, that should be the name of our show, Gringadas.
Gringadas.
Like
Just
it's
talking
it's like an American thing that it's like that every like pet insurance that would make sense to nobody in a developing nation is like.
Or like we take like certain things that are similar, like people tailgate, we do the carne asada in our backyard. Barbecue the carne asada.
Or like like you're paying full price for Valentine's Day candy, especially because it's Valentine's Day, and then the next day it's like 50% off. Like then
Valentine's Day is the day after.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like so it's not worth whatever the hell you're paying for it. And it's like and. That's why Latino people love to go to Sam's Club and Costco.
Because that's where they're gonna find the most half off candy.
So you're gonna find a deal.
It used to be Walgreens or Kroger. I remember going to Kroger and like all the candies there being 50. It'd be the whole aisle.
Oh man,
be game over.
You know what I remember, and it's not candy, but I remember going to Sears. Sears was the one place as a kid, because they started phasing out live arcades and places, but Sears, you could go, and Sears used to have like somewhere in the area where they used to have like the video games. They used to sell like Nintendo and like Sega, and you could go there and play. Like there was like a TV set up, and there'd be like Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever game.
No, yeah, I know
could
what
play
you're
live.
talking about,
Yeah, they eventually phased it out. I mean, Sears went bankrupt, but.
Well, because Walmart started doing it too.
Did they?
Walmart did it because you'd go to
Walmart did start doing it at the end of the aisles.
Yeah, and then like you would, because I remember it phased out when the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 came out, and that was the last time you ever saw something like that.
Yeah, which is bullshit. Once again,
that shit was fire.
Yeah, like you can go and try out like a little bit of the game, especially if it's open, and there's not a bunch of kids in line for it,
You know what my first game was on one of those?
What?
It was a Nintendo GameCube. And this isn't saying like this was the first time I ever played a video game. This is the first time I ever used one. It was the Nintendo GameCube, and it was Star Fox Assault that came out.
What's the difference between playing and using one?
So like, what do you mean? Like playing your first video game versus using one of those. So like using one of those, you just get bored. So like
you're using the live one.
Yeah, the demo. Yeah.
The demo.
So like using one of those, like, because obviously we've gamed even prior to even going to one of those.
Because they used to have sometimes it used to be like a time demo or sometimes just a playthrough. And it's like the time one is the most heart-wrenching thing. At the same time, you're like, let me try to see as much of this game as I can.
Let me speed run through it.
But then, the timer, and it resets.
Yeah, because I played Star Fox Assault, which is literally the most underrated GameCube game.
Yeah.
Because nobody really talks about that game anymore. Like in the nerd community, like it's a very like underrated game.
Yeah.
Because it's people are either talking about like, if we were going to mention Star Fox, either Star Fox Adventure or the Star Fox came out on the Switch.
Okay.
But I mean, to each their own. Everybody like has their different interests.
What about OG Star Fox?
OG Star Fox, like 64?
Yeah.
Fucks with that game heavy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only one that I really played.
Best music ever.
I bought a Nintendo 64 twice because once one of my friends stole it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. But once again, N64, 4 inputs, 4 physical controllers.
Was it?
You can play at a time.
Was it more expensive getting it the first time or the second time with the resale?
I think they were about the same.
Okay.
See, back then, people did not hype shit. People did not, if you resold something, it was less, not more. You know?
Because I remember growing up with the 64, and then we lost it or it broke. I forgot which one. And then
that shit's expensive.
10 years later, like I wanted one because of GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And then it was like $180 for a used one. And it's
I wonder how much my fucking Alf costs. I wonder if that's gone up in price.
Yeah.
Now it's like $1,000. I'd be like, sorry, Alf. We need a new switcherboard.
So there's something that you don't know about that I wanted to talk about. You don't know anything about the George Lopez, Ralph Barbosa drama, right?
Well, let's talk on that topic. Tell me, I know who George Lopez is. I don't know who the other Barbosa is.
So Ralph Barbosa.
Is it the captain from Pirates of the Caribbean?
No.
Okay.
He's another Latino comic based out in California as well. He's kind of like me. He's an up and comer. He's like starting to get really big.
Yeah.
If you know him, there's a clip of him from one of the Don't Tell comedy clips, and it went big.
Okay.
He's really funny.
Okay.
This is a funny dude. Honestly, his style, I felt like I can relate to his style because he's just talking about his life and shit. He says it in such a funny way that it's like he's a stoner for sure. So it's very low key and this is what's going on with my family, like this and that. And it's it's funny. Like that shit's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And so he's blowing up. He recently was on Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
That's how you know when you kind of as a comic, if you're low and then you build yourself up, you want to be on those late night shows doing the opening.
Okay,
So he was recently on there, and George Lopez was on a podcast recently, and they were talking about some just some shit that he's been going through. Apparently he had fought with another comic a while ago, and they just wanted to talk about old beefs. They brought things up. So George Lopez obviously talking about certain things will get him heated up.
Yeah.
So they bring up, they're like, oh, have you seen this new kid, Ralph Barbosa? He's really good, and this and that, and he's Latino. And so George Lopez is like, Ralph who? I don't know that kid.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is he? This and that. He was talking shit, and so everybody was like, dude, what happened to
I've never fucking heard of that kid.
Yeah, but everybody's like, dude, what happened to Latinos United or this and that? What happened to supporting each other? And Ralph Barbosa, sorry, I stuttered.
Yeah.
Ralph went on another big name podcast, Flagrant.
Yeah.
And was talking about it with Andrew Schultz, and they were like, oh, what's up? What happened with that? Why are you beefing with all the OGs? And he's like, well, the thing is, I don't fuck with George Lopez like that. People assumed that I looked up to him, and that brought me the question because he said a quote that really stuck with me. It's a Mexican's worst enemy is another Mexican. And I'm just it's true. It's fucking true. There's nothing worse for a successful Mexican than another successful Mexican because they both feel like they have to be at the top of each other. You know what I mean? It's the machismo and shit like that where it really influences people's view on each other. That's oh, you're there, let me be better than you, and then they'll try and succeed. They'll do their best to be better than one another. They're not really supporting each other. So then that it's why are you being so disrespectful to this young upcomer when you're already incredibly successful? I would argue that George Lopez is a legend.
Is this assuming that George Lopez didn't know who he was? Because once again, I have no idea who this fucking guy is. And maybe it's a generational thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's and if he's do you support? He's I don't know what the fuck that is.
Well,
it doesn't seem to me.
Well, I don't blame you if you don't, because the thing is, when you're so big, a name like George Lopez, who's making shows, he's selling out arenas and shit like that, you kind of need to know what's in the commute, who's upcoming, who am I gonna keep an eye on, this and that.
Okay,
I would assume that's how that is. I don't know. I'm not fucking big.
Yeah, because I think if he doesn't know, then you shout off a name. Maybe he's who am I supposed to respect or whatever? I would know who this fuck this is.
And that's true. But the thing is Ralph also was yo, I don't know. I get it. He's big. He's legendary. I know the name, but I didn't fuck with him to even start. So my name being thrown out to this and him saying that it really had no effect on me.
Who threw out the name? Was it Jimmy Fallon that was interviewing?
No. It was I forgot the podcast.
Oh, it's Flagrant, you said, right?
No, Flagrant was the one Ralph Barbosa was on.
Oh, okay. So it was because that's whoever started that beef. That's that person that's saying the question. Instead of being have you heard of so and so? Well, he's maybe they didn't pitch it correctly. And then, that's the thing about podcasts. You just,
Yeah, I'm trying to like figure out what podcast it was because
It's very improv-y, you know?
Because the thing is like I get it, like because George Lopez has always been like a hard ass.
Yeah.
He's always been that kind of person.
Yeah.
And that's just how he grew up. Like
Yeah.
he's a tough dude. Like he grew up in East LA, I think East LA with his
Yeah.
grandparents, not his actual parents.
Yeah.
And like he went through just about what the Latin comic would go through when they're
Yeah.
doing comedy in California. Like everybody there is Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Any comic, I've personally never been to California, so I don't know
Yeah.
what the comedy scene is like there, but I would assume like half
Yeah.
of the motherfuckers are Latin.
Mm.
And like that's the best place to be when you're a Latin comic, when your audience is a majority of Latin Americans.
Yeah.
So that's where I would assume comics would be at if you're Latin, and then that's where you build your your audience,
Yeah.
and then you move it somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's probably it. To your point, right? I think to what you said earlier, that if you're the Latino comic, then like, and you're at the top, right? Then you should watch out. And if you section yourself off as I'm a Latino comic that makes jokes about Latino shit specifically, then yeah,
Mhm.
I could very much see that, because I could see, let's say, you're a Latino in Wisconsin. Well, guess what? Your audience, you have to be a comic to, like, let's say, or like, I don't know, pick a diversity, or Boston, right? Where you might have different audiences in different rooms. Like you might have a white room, black room, Hispanic room, like mixed room, whatever, and there can be difference, especially if it's very sectioned off, like a highly demographic room, right? Where, like, let's say it's Hispanic, it's a lot more cultural, like kind of like that Dave Chappelle skit about the music, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, it'll be much more, maybe even some words turned in Spanish might make the entire crowd room laugh. But if you threw too many of those words in a mixed environment, then you have to have jokes that just hit, like everybody. But George Lopez, kind of like Joe Coy is for Filipino comedy. I think he has sectioned himself off as a Latino comic. So in that sense, if there's another Latino up and comer that's especially focused around stuff like that, Latino comedy, then yeah, I could see.
So, and there's a few points that, like, so before I kind of give you what I think was who was right, who was wrong, because I don't think either one of them were right in what they kind of, because it's a neutral thing.
Yeah.
Like, this shouldn't be like here.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
Yeah.
But so
I think people should be able to talk shit about each other openly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like George Lopez said it on his podcast.
I'm coming for you, George Lopez. You son of a bitch.
So George Lopez said all that on his podcast called OMG High, and he was there with Steve Trevino. So like they were talking up shit, stuff like that. Like I was saying, like you say some things to somebody and they kind of just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what Ralph ended up saying on Flagrant was like, yeah, like it didn't matter to me because I didn't fuck with him like that. Like, sure, he's a legend, like this and that.
Yeah.
I just feel like
that actually gives some more credence that George Lopez didn't know who it was, because that means, like, yeah, I don't fucking know George Lopez, Like, so how,
But I think
it's not like we're buddies and he dissed me. That who the fuck is this, Ralph guy?
So where Ralph comes from is that, like, I 100% feel him, because he was never into comedy growing up. The only thing he ever really watched comedy wise was the Dave Chappelle skits. That's 100% me. I didn't grow up with comedy. Like, I didn't watch any stand up. The first stand up I ever watched was John Mulaney in New York.
Yeah.
And that was that was like the first time I ever been exposed to like a stand up special. And then, it's just, you don't have to like these comics, and Ralph says this too, but like you also got to understand what they've done to pave the wave for you. So even though you don't, give them the same respect you would somebody that you like as a comic, I feel like, dude mentioned you and is like saying, oh, I don't know you, like this and that. Like, I just feel like that's still like a great honor. because like George Lopez and like these other Latino comics, like they paved the wave before like the newcomers. Because now, back then it was like, and they've said this on Flagrant, I quote unquote, like Latin comics back then were funny because they were making fun of like, you know, their lives, like Latin style comic. Now it's like, oh, you're a Latin comic because they were comics that talked only about Latin stuff. And so now that that's like a base in comedy, that it's like, sure, you don't have to look up to the guy, but at least, you know, give the man his flowers. Like, sure, he could be a dick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know that are dicks.
Yeah.
But I still give their ups.
Absolutely. If all of a sudden, like, let's say you went up and then, you know, he's like, somebody went up to, let's say, somebody that's like, let's say a little drier, like Justin, like, is like, oh, yeah, you know what, he's going to be like, yeah, you know what, that kid's up and coming. You'd be like, I don't know who the fuck that is. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, like we promote, you know, the YouTube channel on the Honest Papa's Hours, and sometimes he shits on us. Like, you know, like you've heard some of the promos, and that's funny as shit. I agree with you. Yeah, it's like it's an honor to be a little roasted. That's a joke that's for free, you know, or whatever.
I just feel like, you know, because the Latin community in itself is already kind of like, oh, you're not with us. Like, oh, let's make it a big deal. And I'm just like, dude,
I feel like the young Latin community, is like that.
You know.
Because the immigrants are like community. It's not even
no, that's facts.
They're like, what community? Community here at home. You know, we got to pay the bills. And you know, like.
Also,
you
like,
know, they're like, I don't give a fuck. A lot of people don't even give a fuck what their neighbor does. You know, like a lot of people don't talk to their neighbors. You know, like unless they're in a Latin community.
Yeah, my dad literally would be like, I don't have any friends, and then like a couple days later, he's at a party with his so-called friends. He'd be like, oh, they're not my friends. They're just I just know them. And it's like, damn.
That sounds like my dad. He'd be like, oh yeah, no, it's just somebody.
It just got invited. I'm here. You know? Or like because my dad is like, in my opinion, I get a lot of my like bouginess from my dad, because my dad's like, oh, I don't have any friends, but we'll throw like a birthday party for like my sisters or my stepsisters or for me, and we'll invite motherfuckers over, and I'll be like, damn, you know all these people? He's like, oh, I mean, they know me, so I'll be like, damn, okay, I guess. Nice to meet you. I don't know you. Oh, you're my stepmom's brother. Okay, nice to meet you for the first
he's
time.
Like, they're all just NPCs, you know? like, yeah.
No, but like overall,
he's like, you're an NPC too, son. Just don't get it twisted. You're like that. You're the NPC.
I'll only call you for your bills. That's all I get.
You're like, Dad, you're my final boss. You know, like.
But yeah, I guess because I want to. What I really want to say is like the whole Latin community, like, yeah, we're in it together, but like sometimes it's cool to just pop off your shit. Sure, George Lopez probably got a lot of flack because he has a past of being a piece of shit. Yeah, and so like that's just what it is. I mean, it's there. It's in the books. Like it's all there. I'm not saying I don't like him. I love George Lopez. He's fucking hilarious. That's my idol. But like, also, I know he can be a dick sometimes. Like I know my dad can be a dick.
Absolutely. Alex's dad, you heard it here first. You know, like,
I've told him that too.
Yeah, goddamn.
You know, and I've taken a smack to the face over that.
Okay,
so like,
good. I was gonna say,
no,
you're lucky you were raised in the U.S. Otherwise,
no, I've taken like I would say shit that I regret. So like, I know the consequences. So like, no, my dad's cool. That's my homie.
Oh, absolutely.
I tell you about so the day we got the new car, we're over there and we're just done. He just finished cussing off the dude that was trying to sell him Gap insurance. And he's like, here, hold this. And I'm like, oh, are these my keys? He's like, no, they're my keys. I'm driving your car back to the house. I was like, oh okay. Yeah, sure. Here, I'll drive the truck. He was like, I'm thinking about buying one of these myself. Here, let me just take it for a test drive. I was like, okay, go ahead and put the first 10 miles into my car.
What would have happened if you just like, you know, like smashed his truck on the way back? You know, like
trust me, that was so like in my head.
You're your own vehicle, so it's like, sorry, Dad, your car your car rear-ended mine. So it's gonna be on your insurance.
Yeah, no, I just think because when I was driving that truck, I was fucking terrified. I was like, I hope nobody fucking rear ends me or something like that. But made it safely, and he likes my car.
Oh yeah, well, that's a win. And with that, I think we can,
Yeah, I think it's time we wrap it up, guys.
Yeah, because we're about to lose Andy. She's about to
over here.
She's about to stop switching.
She wants to go back to not getting roasted while being on her phone.
Yeah. Oh
The phone you don't deserve.
I know that switch is not capturing our reactions necessarily. It's just following. It's following our voices. And if she hears your voice, she's like, "I'll use my left button, my left finger, my index finger." And if I hear Arturo's voice, he'll see my middle finger.
Anyway, thank you for that chat. Honestly, that conversation was really like. We talked about tech. We talked about Latinos not liking each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good show. It's a solid show.
Oh yeah, man! Thank you for having me.
Oh, dude, it's always a pleasure. I always have you here whenever I need you, my guy. You've been such a help. And for everybody that's been watching, thank you for staying, watching us. Rant. We're all angry people. No, but thank you again for supporting the channel. And like I said, I have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AsideOfFriesGaming. Gaming, and we're on Instagram at Side of Fries Podcast and Manly Girly Studio, or at Manly Girly on Instagram.
Yeah, at Manly Girly on Instagram, or you can find me at OK Arturo, or you can find us on TikTok at MNLYGRLY, where we have TikToks of our bunnies.
Yeah, bunnies.
For manly girly bunnies.
And like I said, I'm always on social media, so if you just pop by. We're always out here, man. And again, one more time, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one. Peace.
Bye.